And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, with a regular morning edition of our newspaper of the air. News flashes hot off the wire. And the very first item is hot in more ways than one. The murder trial of Fifi Brown, charged with shooting her sweetheart, goes into the home stretch today as Barry Conant, Fifi's mouthpiece, assumes personal charge of the defense. Conant, man of 1,000 surprises, is believed to have one more trick up his sleeve.
I sure hope we can get a seat.
Well, we can always stand. It's good for the figure.
These people are okay, Joe.
I did.
You heard a scream
Yes.
and a pistol shot.
Distinctly.
That's all. Your witness.
No questions, Your Honor. You may step down.
More of them students from that law school.
Getting practical experience in the courtroom, I guess.
They come to see Barry Conant, if you ask me. It's like a matinee every time that guy opens his trap.
I don't see Barry Conant anywhere. I wonder where he is.
Well, it's absolutely...
The defense may proceed, Mr. Smith.
Your Honor, the defense can't proceed.
Why not, sir?
Mr. Conant is desperately ill. We have just received word that his condition is critical, and we are compelled to ask for a delay.
We object, Your Honor. Mr. Conant's associates have conducted the case thus far. Let them continue to do so.
But it's impossible. Mr. Conant had planned to examine the defense's witnesses, make the summation. Your Honor, Mr. Conant wouldn't ask this if it were possible for him to be here. But the doctors have ordered him to remain in bed. It might cost him his life to appear.
Hey, Mr. Conant, open up.
If it please the court, Mr. Conant's illness, he be here is humanly possible. Quiet! Order the court! Order the court!
Barry Conant. My, he looks pale. He must be terribly sick.
Order!
Your Honor, I ask the court's pardon for my appearance in this condition.
In view of Mr. Conant's illness, the state agrees to a continuation for the next 24 hours.
No, Your Honor, the defense is ready to proceed. My health is neither here nor there. The important thing is that a woman's life is at stake. An innocent woman's life.
I move that the counsel's remarks be stricken from the records.
It is so ordered.
The jury will decide for itself upon the guilt or innocence of the defendant.
Your Honor, I move a dismissal of this case.
On what do you base such a motion, Mr. Conant?
On the grounds that although the state has brilliantly proved that a man was shot and killed, it has failed absolutely to connect the defendant with the crime alleged in the indictment.
That's a matter of evidence for the jury to decide. If Mr. Conant had been in court, he might have...
I have followed the testimony through my associates, and I am willing to concede that the state has built up a strong circumstantial case against the defendant.
Quiet! Order the court!
Oh, Your Honor, please, if you don't mind. Thank you. I don't bring one hint of perjury nor prejudice. But, Your Honor, I repeat, this is a case of circumstantial evidence, nothing more. Your Honor, much has been made of the fact that there were teeth marks in the fleshy forearm of the deceased. Witness after witness for the state has pounded home this fact, and the defense admits it. But not a single witness has pointed his finger at this defendant and said, that is the woman who first bit, then killed the deceased. For that reason, I ask a dismissal.
Motion denied. Proceed, Mr. Conant.
Don't talk so much. Dr. Blount in the second row, the one next to the owl. Get her telephone number. If it please the court. Your Honor, we have the three witnesses, 2 experts, and the defendant. Mr. Clerk, call the state's medical examiner to the stand.
He's wonderful. Did you ever hear anybody like him?
Just wait till I'm a lawyer.
You've already been sworn.
I have.
You testified that you examined the victim's body?
I did.
How long, in your opinion, was the deceased bitten before he was shot?
Immediately before his death.
At what time did the shooting occur?
About 10 o'clock, I'd say.
You've already identified this as a true photograph of the victim's arm?
I have.
Were you present when that photograph was made?
I was.
Will you examine this plaster cast? Were you present when it was made?
I was.
Will you say it is a physical reproduction of the dead man's arm and the teeth marks?
It is.
Your Honor, the defense offers in evidence this plaster model as its Exhibit A.
No objection.
That's all. Your witness.
No question.
Witness may step down.
Mr. Clerk, call Mr. Chris Erickson to the stand.
Mr. Chris Erickson, take the stand.
Yes, sir, that's me.
Order in the court.
Raise your right hand. Your hat.
Oh, excuse me, please.
You do solemnly swear the testimony you may give in the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
What did you say?
You do solemnly swear the testimony you may give in the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Oh, no, I say, yeah, you bet I do.
Be seated.
Yes, sir.
What is your business, Mr. Erickson?
Oh, I'm in the, I'm a cheese.
Cheese? Now, don't be frightened, Mr. Erickson. You make cheese.
Yes, sir. I make imported cheeses.
You make imported cheeses in this country?
No, sir. In Minneapolis, I make Camembert, Roquefort, Limburger, Nuggets.
Then I take it you'd recognize cheese if you saw it.
Do I recognize cheese when I see it? My goodness, you bet I do.
Your Honor, I fail to see the relevancy of cheese to this simple case of murder.
You'll see the connection soon enough. Just one thing more, Mr. Erickson. Will you open that package? Do you recognize that?
That's cheese.
You're sure of that?
Sure, I'm sure. With me, it's instinct.
What kind of cheese?
Well, that is American cheese.
That's all. Your witness.
No questions.
The witness may step down.
Oh, thank you. I hope you get better soon. Goodbye and tack så mycket.
Thank you, Mr. Erickson.
Order in the court.
Miss Brown.
Miss Brown, take the stand. Raise your right hand. You do solemnly swear the testimony you may give in the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Be seated.
Miss Brown, you are charged with the murder of your fiancée. Before you answer my questions, I want you to search your heart well, for I want the truth.
I suggest we'll get at the truth just as quickly if Miss Brown lowers her skirt. The jury is not interested in, shall we say, her legs.
My friend, the prosecuting attorney, wants to follow your testimony. He's afraid his interest will wander, if you don't mind. Miss Brown, did you kill your fiancé?
Oh, no.
Were you with him the night he was killed?
Yes.
At what time?
I had dinner with him. I left him at 8 o'clock.
2 hours before his death?
Yes.
Did you bite him on the arm before you left?
No, of course not.
Did you ever bite him? On the arm, I mean.
No.
You understand that the state contends that the killer bit her victim on the arm?
Yes.
But you didn't bite him on the arm.
No, I didn't bite him. I loved him.
Miss Brown, I hold in my hand a piece of cheese. American cheese. Will you take a bite?
Your Honor, I object. This is a courtroom, not a delicatessen.
Your Honor, we offer this cheese in evidence as Exhibit B for the defense. Even the most casual comparison would prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the defendant couldn't possibly be the woman in the case. Look for yourselves. Your Honor, the defense rests.
Your Honor, I object. This is entirely out of order.
Appearing in court in a wheelchair, Barry Conant today sprang a complete surprise on the state in the case of Fifi Brown.
He won a verdict of not guilty after the jury had deliberated for only 13 minutes.
What a man.
Oh, I don't know. I try to be agreeable, at least.
I was referring to Barry Conant.
Hey, Doc, did you get the blonde's telephone number?
No, Chief, I couldn't get to her.
Well, hurry. She might still be in the building.
Yeah.
Congratulate you, too. I think you were great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, he fainted.
Would you please help me take him home, miss?
Oh, yes, of course.
Get him in the elevator.
I want to go, too.
No more.
Oh, there's no dignity to criminal law. I'm going to confine myself to corporations.
I guess it's just the excitement that brought it on again, miss.
Has he been sick long?
Oh, about 15 years, on and off.
He's always in court. How does he keep going?
You got me there, miss.
I still don't understand why you don't call a doctor.
Oh, I'm a doctor, miss. A bone specialist, one of those chiropracticing guys. You know.
No.
See, he's all right. He's coming to. It's just his heart or maybe his liver. You know, he's got a curvature to the skull. You know, full of bone tissue.
Where am I?
Home.
Home. If I'm home, who are you?
Carol Aiken.
Oh, yes, I remember. In the corridor before I fainted.
You shouldn't have gone out today in your condition.
Aiken. Aiken. By the way, Miss Aiken, it is Miss, I hope. What are you doing next week?
I'm going to a little town you never even heard of, to visit my uncle. Why?
Oh, I just had an idea. Maybe I dreamt it, but I'm going to Hot Springs for a rest cure. Why don't you come and visit your cousin?
My cousin? In Hot Springs?
Well, after all, we're all cousins. I mean, common ancestors, Adam and Eve.
Oh, that's funny. Of course he thinks I'm just a
dame.
Thank you, just the dame.
Not at all. A beautiful girl like you.
Mr. Conant, I'm a lawyer. I just wanted to congratulate you when you were ill, that's all.
You? A lawyer?
I will be if I pass my bar exam next week.
Oh, don't be silly. Lawyers don't look like you. They're old and ugly. Buck teeth. Come here. Let me see your teeth. Oh, you're no lawyer. For a minute there, you gave me quite a start.
You don't like lady lawyers?
Hence the crow? I should say not. I like my women young and beautiful. And not too smart. Brilliant women give me a slight pain. Oh, Doc. Easy. Thank you, Doc.
Is that why you asked me to go to Hot Springs with you? Because I don't look smart?
Then you'll go? Good girl. Doc, get another ticket for Hot Springs.
No, thank you, Mr. Conant. I appreciate your offer. I'm flattered. I'm even tempted, but...
You think I'm ill? That I'm out of my head?
Well, that's one reason.
Oh, I get you. You don't like Hot Springs. Good. Neither do I. We'll go to Atlantic City or Europe. Say, that's the very thing. Little old Europe in June. Paris in spring. You got a passport?
Excuse me, Chief. Maybe that's one of my own heart attacks coming on.
We'll go to Venice. We'll float in a gondola, and I'll serenade you. Santa Lucia, Santa Lucia. What are you doing?
I'm leaving.
Oh, but now, wait a minute.
I thought you were sick.
Oh, but I'm better now, much better.
Oh, I see. Your 11th hour entrance in the wheelchair, the defendant in widow's weeds, the cheese, all your heartbreaking speeches in the courtroom were just...
A theatrical build-up. It doesn't hurt. You want to remember that when you start practicing.
Yes, but your greatest performance was outside in the corridor when you fainted. You were magnificent. I'll never forget it.
Yeah, but Miss Aiken. Now listen, Miss Aiken. Now you can't walk out on me like this. Miss Aiken.
We'll go to Venice and float in one of them there gondolas, and I'll serenade to you. La 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 la.
I reiterate, there's absolutely no dignity to criminal law. I shall confine myself to corporations. Sorry.
That's all right. Mr. Conan, I knew you were an alumnus, but I never thought you'd come here.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yes, ever since I was a very young lad, I've always... Sorry.
Don't you think the Supreme Court is a bulwark?
Oh, unquestionably.
Yes, I'm aiming for much higher things in life. Sorry.
No, that's my fault.
No, it's my fault. Really.
Oh, no.
Well, I don't know. I guess it's the music. It must be too slow or too fast or too swingy or something.
Yes. You're a wonderful dancer.
Sorry.
Oh, it's quite all right.
Now, do you know Mr. Jackson, Mr. Conan?
Well, how are you, Mr. Jackson?
How do you do?
May I have the rest of this dance?
Oh, but I thought...
Oh, you thought that you'd like to dance with this young man? Why, of course. Thank you, Mr. Jackson. See you later.
And just as I was catching on to his style of dancing.
Me too. To hers, I mean. Well, shall we?
Yes. I wasn't quite ready.
Ready now?
Yes.
Go.
Aren't you going to thank me for rescuing you?
Oh, thank you.
Didn't you get my telephone calls?
Yes.
And my wires?
Mm-hmm.
And my flowers? I hoped you'd wear them tonight.
Oh, they were beautiful. Thank you very much.
No, I'm sorry for everything. I want to apologize.
Oh, that's all right. I can take care of myself.
You dance beautifully.
Thank you. So do you.
Cheese sandwich?
I don't like cheese.
I get it.
Yes, thanks.
Mustard?
No, thank you. Olives?
Oh, sure. I like olives. You said you thought I was great, remember?
I thought you were a great lawyer, but that was before I found out you weren't, too.
But I am a great lawyer. I'm a rich lawyer. That's being great in America, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Salad?
Mm.
You'll find out soon enough that all is fair in love and law. It's getting yourself known that counts, a reputation.
But what about the dignity of the law? I suppose I'll learn that's just a phrase.
In plain English, it means put money in thy purse.
Is that all the law means to you, money?
Well, what else should it mean? My client pays me to get him off. The state pays the prosecutor to convict him. We battle it out for wages.
And because you're smarter, you win.
Usually.
I see.
You don't approve? Well, a lot of lawyers don't. Just happens to be my style. You haven't a better formula for success, have you?
No, I haven't any plans. I haven't even decided where I'm going to practice. All I know is I'm going away to the little town where I was born, where people aren't too smart and still have some ideals about the law.
And the name of this utopia is?
Clarkdale. My father practiced law there and his father before him. As far back as you want to go, the men in our family have been lawyers. President Adams put one of them on the Supreme Court bench, and another one helped draft the Constitution of this country. Now, do you understand why I think the law is above cheap tricks?
My family's always had a great deal to do with the law, too. Even when they live back in Ireland, they're forever having their skulls cracked by irate policemen. And I've been told that my great-grandfather's hanging drew the biggest crowd his county ever saw. As for myself, I spent half my youth dodging policemen, stealing apples, fighting. It wasn't until I got to reform school that I decided to connect up with law and order, become a lawyer. It was pretty tough going at first. I had to wash dishes, sweep floors, press pants in the fraternity house to get my degree. But it was worth it. Not once since I graduated have I ever been hungry. Remarkable, eh?
Quite remarkable.
Good. Now we can forget it for pleasanter subjects. When are you leaving for this clean air resort?
Tomorrow.
I'll see you there Friday night.
Clarkdale happens to be one of my last illusions. I haven't seen it for years. And I want it to be just as it was, beautiful and unsullied.
You can't really be serious about not wanting to see me again.
Why shouldn't I be? With your ideas, you and I could never have anything in common.
Shall we dance? Or would you rather keep the night unsullied?
No, I would love to dance.
In conclusion, may I say, heaven help your client.
If I may say, heaven help our courts.
Did you read about Carol Aiken coming to town? Probably pretty uppity now she's a lawyer.
There's no reason why women shouldn't be lawyers or doctors or preachers if they want to.
Well, Reverend Townsend, all I've got to say is that I'd like to catch one of my girls trying it.
A woman who sets herself up like a man is no fit companion for you children. Now understand that.
Your father's right. I can't imagine what Carol Aiken's thinking of.
But lots of girls these days... That will do. When you've been a prosecuting attorney as long as I have, you'll realize a courtroom is no place for women.
Oh, but, Father, you know I don't want to be a lawyer.
Everett.
Never mind, Mother. He's going to law school in the fall. Let me hear no more about it. And I mean it when I say that you have enough friends in this town without Carol Aiken.
Telephone, Mr. Clark.
All I gotta say is you don't look like a lawyer to me.
I have a diploma, Uncle Will.
Oh, well. There's plenty of folks here who never saw a woman lawyer with or without a diploma. They'll expect you to wear horns or something. Got any hidden under that thing you call a hat?
I wear the invisible kind. But you'll never suspect it. For a whole month, I'm going to be just a sweet, interested visitor back in the place I love with the people I like. I hope the town hasn't changed like everything else, or has it?
Well, the paving's new and traffic lights.
Oh, I mean the people I used to know.
Oh, no, they're just the same. Mean and ornery as ever.
Oh, Uncle Will.
Milt Clark's still our chief pride. He's got his family and everybody else buffaloed, same as ever. Fred Height's a judge now. All he does is kiss babies and show up at camp meetings. No, folks here haven't changed.
Cynic.
You run a newspaper here as long as I have, and you get to know a heap of things.
At least you haven't changed this place.
Change. All you young folks think of. Of course I haven't changed it. Why should I change it? I'm just getting used to it as it is. Been doing that for 20 years. You'll find your room upstairs here on the right.
Oh, Uncle Will. Oh, I never saw so many flowers. You shouldn't have done that.
Now, don't you try to fool me, young woman. You know I didn't send you those flowers.
Well, then who did?
Same fellow's been sending you these telegrams, and 2 more came since I went to meet you.
I can't imagine who it... Let's see.
Let's see. Supporting the telegraph company or something.
Oh, so that's who it is.
Well, out with it. Who is he? What's he do? Who's his family? Got the date set?
It's not like that at all. He's just a man I know slightly in New York.
Ah, casual acquaintance, eh?
He's a lawyer.
Funny I had him spotted for a florist. Well, it's a good thing. You need a husband. Never saw a woman yet who didn't.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. I only saw him once.
Once?
Well, twice.
Ah.
Uncle Will, that isn't Gracie Clay, is it?
That's right. You remember her.
Yes, of course, but she was only a child when I was here before. She's grown up now. Just think of it, still bringing chickens and vegetables after all these years.
Couldn't get along without Gracie.
Gracie, don't you remember me?
Oh, yes, Miss Carroll. Mr. Burley told me you were coming. I sure am glad to see you.
Oh, it's great to see you. Come on in. Let's go upstairs and you can tell me all about yourself while I unpack.
Oh, I'd like to if it'd be all right.
What do you mean if it'd be all right? We're old friends, aren't we?
Yes, Miss Carroll.
Stop calling me Miss Carroll.
And don't call me Mr. Burley. I'm Uncle Will to you and everybody else. Go on. I'll bring you things. Gonna have a lot of trouble getting that trunk of yours upstairs, though.
Gracie, come in. Look, this room is exactly as it was when I left it years ago.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Well, sit down. I want you to tell me all about yourself. You happy? Have you got a beau?
Oh, who'd look at me?
Well, almost any man if he had a brain in his head. Now, you're pretty. You're young and...
Oh, Paul wouldn't let me go with a boy even if I had a chance.
Why not?
Well, he says it ain't nice. Boys and girls going together, I mean.
Not nice? What does he mean? He must have been in love with your mother.
Oh, yes, I guess so, but he's different now. Ever since Ma died, he's been acting awful queer. Seems like he's always afraid I'm going to be a bad woman and disgrace him or something.
What's come over him?
I don't know, but he's been like that ever since he took to preaching at folks.
Preaching?
Seems like he can't let people do anything anymore without preaching at them. He stops people in the road and he talks about death and vengeance, and he whips me if he even sees me talking to a boy.
Gracie, he whips you?
Oh, I didn't mean to tell you that, Miss Carol.
Gracie, I'm so sorry. Tell me, aren't you allowed to have any young friends? I mean, isn't there someone you really care for?
Well...
Oh, I thought so. Tell me about him.
Oh, he's wonderful.
And you love him?
I'd die for him. But he hardly knows I'm alive. I met him one day when I was out in the country, and he came along and he talked to me, and he gave me some of his lunch, and he read me a poem out of a book he'd written himself. He said I was like the girl in that book.
But haven't you seen him since?
Oh, yes, and I see him all the time, but I don't let him see me if I can help. Not in clothes like these.
How'd you like to have one of my dresses?
Oh, Miss Carol, I guess I'd be so happy I'd just about die.
All right, you can have any one you want.
Then maybe I could see him again, huh? I could wear it to the barbecue on the 4th of July. He's sure to be there.
All right.
Take it easy now. Well, watch that corner there. That's the idea. Look out for that door. I just painted it last week. Oh, there it goes. Well, I managed to get it up here for you. Mighty heavy trunk.
Oh, thanks,
Here's your
Uncle
purse.
Ray.
You're just like all the other women, always leaving it around. Don't suppose you know where your keys are. Never saw a woman yet who... Well, I guess I'll be going. Anyway, I bet it's the wrong key.
Gracie, come here. Now, you tell me which dress you want. Any one at all.
Oh, Miss Carol, can I have this one?
Well, of course, Gracie, but don't you think, wouldn't you rather have something else? This one's strictly for evening.
Oh, Miss Carol, all my life I've wanted a party dress like this. I've seen him in magazines, and I've dreamed about him, and I've ached for him till I thought I was going to bust wide open, but I never thought I'd get one. Oh, Miss Carol, can I have this one?
All right, Gracie, and I'm sure it's going to look lovely on you.
July 4th, Independence Day, when we saw the birth of freedom.
Your shoe's coming off.
Here you are, Mother.
Everett, why don't you run along with the young people? Enjoy yourself.
I'd much rather read, Mother.
I'm sorry your parents' friends are so uninteresting to you.
Judge Height, I don't know what's come over young people lately. How any son of mine could be so self-centered.
Hello, Everett.
Hello, Miss Aiken.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, hello, Carol. We weren't quite sure you'd honor us today.
Why not?
Well, just a simple little old picnic.
It's a lovely picnic. I don't know when I've had such a good time.
Well, we were afraid you'd find us too provincial after New York.
Oh, not at all. May I help?
Oh, yes, of course.
Look,
That isn't Gracie Clay, is it?
Yes, that's right.
Oh!
She's dressed up like a horse. Come on, let's go. Come on.
Mother! You should have seen who we just saw.
Who's that?
Gracie Clay.
Who?
You know the girl that brings the chickens and the vegetables. You should see the way she's dressed. She must think this is her birthday or something. Look, here she comes now. Isn't she the limit?
Excuse me. Gracie. Hello, Miss Carroll. Gracie, you look lovely. Hold up your head. Gracie, if anybody says anything to you, I mean, if you're not happy, come to me, won't you?
Well, of all things.
Now, where do you suppose she got a dress like that?
Where would any girl in her position get such a dress?
Mother, I'll...
Be quiet. Run on. Do as you're told.
What can you expect from girls of her stock?
I always thought her father kept a pretty close eye on her.
Well, when a girl takes it into her head to be bad, nothing can stop her. You can depend on that.
Maybe I'd better speak to her father about her.
Play with dirt and you'll soil your hands. That's my motto.
Come on, Gracie, let's go listen to the music.
Well, skin my hide if it ain't Gracie. Howdy, Miss Park Avenue. Looks like your pa must have come into some money, buying you all them fancy clothes.
Please go away.
Who, me? Oh, shucks. Me and Gracie's just like this.
Oh, please don't do that, Vic.
Well, why not? As long as your pa ain't here, somebody's got to look after you.
Hello, Carol. Hello, Gracie.
Hello, Uncle Will.
I sure never expected to see you all dressed up like
Pete, I got something to tell you.
Oh, sure, Mr. Burley.
Come on, Gracie, let's sit here. Oh, that fire department band's pretty good, isn't it?
Gracie, you do like me, don't you?
Of course.
Most people don't. My father and mother think I'm crazy because I hate this town and the people in it.
I understand.
No, you don't. You couldn't. Because, you know something, Gracie? I'm a coward.
Oh, no.
It's true. You can't lie to yourself. I've always been like this, afraid to do anything I ever wanted to do.
You mustn't say things like that.
If I did what I wanted to do, I'd tell my family tonight that I'm in love with you.
Oh, you mustn't tell them. You mustn't ever tell them.
When I'm with you like this, I'm happy. But when I'm at home, I'm afraid of my father and of my mother. You don't know what it's like, being afraid of your own father.
Oh, but I do.
Never being allowed to do anything you want to do. Afraid to speak to him. You know that all my life, my father and I haven't had 10 minutes conversation.
Never.
If he'd beat me, I could have stood that. But instead of beating me, he prayed over me. Wouldn't speak to me, wouldn't let anyone else speak to me for weeks at a time.
Oh, don't, please.
I wouldn't have told you this, Matt, except I thought you knowed about it. Where is she? She's here somewheres about. But look here, Matt. If I didn't know what kind of father you was, keeping your eye on her so strict...
Pete, if you've been lying to me...
I ain't lying. You can ask anybody. You can ask half the people here. If they didn't see her come strutting in with the doggonest fanciest dress on you ever seen.
Where'd she get a dress like that?
And search me. All I gotta say is that a girl as pretty as her has sure got to watch her step in this town. Well, here's where I get off. Be seeing you.
If you'd have gone on and married her like I said...
I was ready to. But shucks, she couldn't see me for a hole in the ground. Now, don't you go tell me I said anything, because I don't want to get mad at me. Well, so long.
Get home.
Mr. Clay. Gracie.
Get up there. I'm going to whip you. I'm going to whip the sin clean out of you.
I ain't done nothing wrong, Paul. Honest, Paul, I ain't.
I saw you.
It ain't a sin to love a man. It can't be. Ma must have loved you, else she wouldn't have married you. We just set off a little ways. We didn't do nothing wrong. Oh, don't! Oh, don't!
Where'd you get that dress?
Miss Carol gave it to me. She wanted me to look pretty just once. Well, that ain't a sin, is it?
Wait till his pa hears. He'll get worse than this.
No, you can't tell on him. No, it wasn't his fault. No, I ran after him. No, I just stared under his feet. Oh, no.
I'll teach him to unlock my daughter.
Oh, you can kill me. I won't let you tell on him. I won't let you tell on him.
Oh, put that down.
You ain't gonna tell. You ain't gonna tell.
Put it down.
You ain't gonna tell. You ain't gonna tell. You ain't gonna tell. You ain't gonna. Oh. Gracie, what is it? Tell us. He's dead. He's dead, I tell you. I left him laying there.
Who's dead? What are you talking about? Here, pull yourself together. Answer me. Who's dead?
Oh, I killed him. Gracie, you didn't. I didn't mean to. I hit him and he fell out of the loft. Why did you do it, Gracie? He was whipping me. He was gonna tell. He was gonna tell his father.
Whose father?
I won't tell you. I won't tell you. You can hang me, but I won't tell you.
Gracie, you don't have to tell us. Does anybody know?
No. I'm too scared to stay there. With him laying there looking at me like he didn't believe it.
The best thing she can do is to give herself up and claim self-defense.
Uncle Will, leave me alone with Gracie for a few minutes.
I'm afraid folks in this town aren't going to understand a girl killing her own father, no matter what the cause.
I'm your friend. I want to help you. Gracie, you and he haven't done anything wrong, have you?
No.
Well, that's all I wanted to know. I'll get Uncle Will to take us to the sheriff. And after you've told us the whole story, I'm sure they won't do anything to you. Just trust me, Gracie.
I do. I do.
What I gotta say is, it's come to a pretty pass if a man can't lick his own kids without them up and killing him.
Matt Clay wasn't the one to slip and fall on his own account.
Heck, she admitted hitting him with a hairbrush.
Sure hope I can get on that jury.
Howdy, Everett. If you'd ask me, it's a case of chez la femme.
Huh?
That's French. It means there's been some monkey business in the woodpile.
Oh.
I must say Carol Aiken's taken a lot on herself, coming down here and telling us how to mind our own business. Whose bid is it?
I bid a spade, but I haven't got it, partner. I just hate to sit here and pass every time. They say she's always over at the jail with Gracie.
Pass. I haven't had a decent hand all afternoon. Well, my husband says the sooner Gracie's tried and it's over with, the better for everybody. I bid 2 hearts, partner.
Milt says it's a cut-and-dried case of murder. He's going to ask for the death penalty.
Really? 2 hearts?
He says it's the principle of the thing. Young people might get the idea. The parents have no rights whatever. Goodness knows children are hard enough to handle as it is.
Has she got a lawyer yet? Oh, may I review the bidding, please?
2 diamonds, isn't it?
2 hearts, dear.
A 3rd diamond. No, I don't think so. Milt says the court will have to appoint a defender, since she hasn't got any money.
I hear the Reverend Mr. Townsend has been over to see her twice already.
They say he's going to preach about her on Sunday.
I bid 2 hearts, partner.
And I understand we're going to be called Pharisees or scribes or whatever it is, because we haven't gone down on our knees to tell this girl what a wonderful thing it is to kill your father.
Well, I never heard of such a thing. Oh, is it my lead?
I bid a little slam in hearts.
Here, wait a minute. Who dealt? I've only got 11 cards. What?
Look.
Oh, what a shame.
Oh, I'm so sorry, dear.
You trust me, don't you, Gracie?
Of course, Miss Carroll.
Well, then tell me who the boy is you were with that night.
I can't.
You know any reason why he's kept quiet.
Yes, I know, but I can't tell.
You know, of course, what people are saying about you.
Yes?
You realize that Mr. Clark says he's going to ask for the extreme penalty against you?
Yes.
Well, then what are you going to do?
Mr. Billings said I should plead guilty and say it was self-defense.
Who's Mr. Billings?
It's the lawyer Judge Hart got to defend me.
So that's it. They've got it all planned, cut and dried. A lawyer appointed by the court. It means nothing to him, so he'll play along with Mr. Clark and curry favor with the jury.
Miss Carroll, you're a lawyer. Please, you be my lawyer.
Oh, but Gracie, I'm only a beginner. I've had no experience.
Oh, you got to, Miss Carroll.
I'd hurt your case more than help it. People in this town don't like women lawyers.
They'll do something to me, sure, if you don't.
All right, Gracie. I'll do the best I can. But you'll have to help me. We have an awful fight on our hands.
Oh, thank you.
Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long in the land which the Lord thy God gavest thee. So goes the fifth commandment.
That's splendid, Milton.
It ought to be. It's from Scripture. What better could you ask? The method of approach to a jury is always important. I want to feel sure of myself. Mother, suppose you be Carol Aiken.
Oh, Milt, do I have to be her?
It's just for practice, Mother. You're the jury. What's so funny about that? You be Gracie Clay.
But, Father,
Do as you're told. Now, where was I? Oh, yes. So goes the fifth commandment. But Gracie Clay did not heed it. She killed her father. He was a good man. And like all good men, he wanted his child to be pure and innocent. That was his only offense. And that's the truth, too. I know exactly how Matt Clay felt. If I caught one of you children as he caught Gracie, I'd do the very same thing.
Milt.
You wait until you have children of your own for whom you're responsible, and you'll understand. The state bears this girl no ill will. It has only the kindliest thoughts, the deepest sympathy for her. But we must see that justice is done.
I like that part, Milton.
The case is a simple one. Matt Clay loved his daughter. He tried to keep her feet on the right path. This day, he returns home, finds she has gone off without his consent to keep a rendezvous with an unknown man. He discovers that she has bedecked herself in clothes ill-fitted to her circumstances. He follows her, discovers her in the arms of this unnamed man. Her father upbraids her, threatens to punish her. She is sullen, resentful. She strikes him, blow after blow, sends him hurtling from the loft. She stands over his body, shouting that he shall not tell the world who this man is. Then she leaves him in his death agony and goes where? To a lawyer. Is that the act of a child, gentlemen? I ask. To a minister, to the police, to a friend, yes. But no, she goes first of all to a lawyer. Now, if the case of this poor, crushed girl resolves itself into a contest of wit or words between her counsel and myself, how hopeless it will be for this state. And yet, perhaps, I will have some homely truths, some simple facts to address to you as we proceed. We hope to prove that a willful girl killed her father. Gracie Clay, the parricide, killed her father in cold blood, and she ran to a lawyer because she knew what was in store for her. Keep that in mind, gentlemen, when the flames of eloquence burn too brightly. Call Sheriff Duncan to the stand.
Sheriff Duncan, take the stand. Raise your right hand, please. You solemnly swear the testimony you may give in the cause of this case, now pending before the court, be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. Be seated.
Now, Sheriff, in what condition was the defendant when she came to give herself up?
I'd say she was acting mighty queer.
I object, Your Honor. The question calls for an opinion or conclusion on the part of the witness.
The jury is entitled to hear the witness's testimony. Proceed.
All I know is she wasn't crying or taking on or doing anything like she was sorry.
Your Honor, I ask that the answer be stricken from the record.
Denied.
Your witness?
No questions.
Stand down.
Call Mr. Jenkins to the stand.
Mr. Jenkins, take the stand.
This don't look like no utopia to me.
You're right. It looks like a last illusion. Well, cheer up. Maybe it's beautiful and unsullied inside. Any seats in there?
Sure, but they're all filled.
Say, that's a nifty, Elmer. Have a cigar.
How did you know my name was Elmer?
It's written all over your face.
Mr. Jenkins, you are the coroner of this county.
Yeah.
You examined the body.
Yeah. Keep your eyes open, Doc. See how a case is conducted with ideals.
You mean the case is already lost?
Quiet.
Would you say that death was caused by blows on the head or by a fall?
I object, Your Honor. That's a leading question. Besides, the witness is not a doctor. He's a carpenter.
I will restate the question. What did Matt Clay die of?
All I got to say is Gracie admitted hitting him, and he was hit all right.
Your Honor, I ask that the statement be stricken from the record.
The jury will disregard that statement.
Doctor, you examined the body.
As soon as I got there.
In what condition did you find it?
He was stretched out. The head showed cuts and bruises.
You mean that he had been struck?
Don't answer that. Your Honor, I object. The witness was not present. He didn't see any blows delivered.
If he wasn't hit with something, I'm no doctor.
Your Honor.
Your Honor, the statement may be stricken from the record.
Strike it out.
Your witness?
No questions.
Stand down.
They're giving it a run around.
Very cogent observation.
Huh?
Shh. I will call as next witness for the state, Miss Alice Brinkerhoff.
Miss Alice Brinkerhoff. Take a stand, please. Quiet. Quiet. Order in the court. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you may give in the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Be seated.
Miss Brinkerhoff, what is your occupation?
Social welfare worker at the mills.
What are your duties?
I see that our employees and their families lead decent, respectable lives, and the temptation is removed from them. You can imagine what I'm up against.
You knew Matt Clay?
Yeah.
For how long?
20 years, more or less.
What would you say of his character?
I object. That question is irrelevant and immaterial.
What is the point of your question, Mr. Clark?
If it please the court, we expect to prove that Matt Clay was a man of strong moral character, and that it was in revolt from this that Gracie Clay killed him.
You may proceed.
Answer my question.
Brother Clay spent most of his time in good works. He was a relentless enemy of Satan. Why, I've seen him get up at a meeting.
Your Honor, I move these remarks be stricken from the records as prejudicial against the defendant.
Young woman, if you think you're going to stop me from saying what I know to be true about a good man like Matt Clay, you've got another thing coming.
Here. The witness will restrain herself from personal references and proceed with her testimony.
Did Matt Clay ever speak to you of his daughter's welfare?
We spent a great deal of time discussing her conduct.
Mr. Jackson, you operate a general merchandise establishment.
Best in town.
I hand you this hairbrush. In your opinion, is it firm enough to produce death?
Your Honor, I object.
It's right firm. Kind I always lay in. Price is right, too.
Your Honor, how can this man or any man make such a statement without considering the strength with which the blow was delivered?
The strength of the brush is proper evidence. The jury can decide for itself on its reliability. Proceed.
That's all. Your witness?
No questions.
Stand down.
If we were only handling this case, Chief.
Get thee behind me, Satan.
Quiet.
Quiet.
Quiet? Yes.
As next witness for the state, I call Bede Saunders.
Bede Saunders, take the stand. Bede Saunders. Bede Saunders, take the stand. Yes, sir. Raise your right hand, please. Your right hand. You solemnly swear the testimony you may give in the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yeah. Be seated.
Mr. Sanders, where were you on the night of July 4th at about 9:40 o'clock?
I just happened to be passing Matt Clay's house, and I heard a lot of yelling and screaming. So naturally, I walked up to the house and looked in the window. And I seen Matt Clay falling out of the loft. And pretty soon, I seen Gracie Clay following him with a brush in her hand. And there she was, standing over him.
And you have only the friendliest feeling for the defendant?
The who?
The defendant, Gracie Clay.
Oh, her. Huh. I ain't got nothing against her.
That guy's a moron. Quiet.
Your witness?
You say you told Matt Clay where he could find Gracie.
That's right.
But you weren't with him when he found her.
Nope.
You were ashamed of what you'd done. Was that it?
I object, Your Honor. The witness' state of mind is not an issue. That's a conclusion. I am only quoting you, Miss Aiken.
Sustained.
And you followed Gracie and her father home.
I just happened to be going in that direction.
And you listened to them quarreling.
I ain't deef.
But you didn't go to your friend's assistance when you heard them fighting.
Was none of my business.
But eavesdropping was.
Your Honor, may we ask that counsel for the defense be cautioned to confine herself to the issue?
Counsel will try to remember that the witness is not on trial.
Did you have any cause to be angry with the defendant, Gracie Clay?
Who, me?
Did you?
Huh, shucks. Looks to me like it was the other way around. Why, if I hadn't have found out about that fella, I might have married her myself.
I've listened to enough. Wait here.
Your Honor! I beg your pardon for this intrusion. I'm Barry Conant of New York City.
I've been engaged by the defense, and with your Honor's permission, I will associate myself with Miss Aiken.
Mr. Conant.
I'm sorry I couldn't get here earlier. Your Honor, as I have just arrived in your fair city and haven't had time to consult with my colleague nor the defendant, I ask for an adjournment until tomorrow morning.
If it please the court, we see no reason why this case should be prolonged to add to the already staggering tax burden it has laid on this community.
That's right.
Order!
Faint, quick.
What?
Faint, I said. I'll catch her. Hurry.
Your Honor, she's fainted. Get some water, somebody, quick. Look, Your Honor, she's ill. Somebody get her doctor. I'm a doctor. I'm a New York doctor. Sit down.
Oh, you're beautiful. Close your eyes. Stop breathing.
Your Honor.
Court is adjourned until tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock.
Come on, Mr. Conant, get out the air. Come on, give him a little bit, yo. Open those doors. Mighty strange to me. Mighty strange.
Now, if you please, what's it all about? You're coming here offering to help.
Simple. I was in Hot Springs. The local paper had a notice of the trial, and I thought I'd drop in to see how it's done.
And you saw quite enough.
I saw enough to figure you need a friend.
So far, they've overruled me on every point, and the way they've built up a morals case against Gracie.
Let's not worry about their case. What about ours?
Looks like Carol Aiken made a mighty big mistake bringing in a New Yorker.
That fella better watch himself. That's all I've got to say.
Yes, and her, too. Folks will stand for just so much and no more.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Pleasant day.
Does that answer your question?
Well, it seems to be very popular.
All right. Where's my uncle?
He'll be back in a few minutes.
Well, let's wait in here.
So, you know, we might get a postponement.
I asked for a change of venue, but it was turned down.
Say, I have an idea. Gracie would only have a baby.
What?
Well, give me a baby born in jail, and I can lick any jury in the world.
I'm afraid it'll take more than one of your tricks to lick Clarkdale.
Oh, I don't know. Towns roll. They like a good show. I find jurors are usually grateful if they're entertained. So let's take them by surprise. Have Gracie plead guilty. I'll get a couple of alienists, and we'll prove that Gracie has suffered from brainstorm since she was 2.
Don't be ridiculous.
Well, then, maybe we ought to get Gracie a new dress. Cut low in front, shorter skirts. What are her legs like?
Will you please be serious?
And those fellows out there that talk about me, there seems to be a lot of prejudice in this utopia of yours.
Well, they resent outsiders, if that's what you mean.
Judge, jury, witnesses, all the mob out to get Gracie Clay. New York lawyer, woman attorney, why, we're licked, Carol. We're licked before we even start, unless...
Unless what?
Unless... Say, I'd like to talk to your uncle. He's a pretty good fellow, isn't he?
He's one of the best.
And by the way, did you thank me for coming here?
You know I did.
A handshake, a welcome on the mat.
What'd you expect me to do? Throw my arms around you and kiss you?
And there you go, talking about kissing. Next thing you know, it'll be love. Is that all you women can ever think about?
Oh, Uncle Will.
Oh, hello, Uncle Will. There's a little matter I want to take up with you later. I've got to run on now and send a telegram. In fact, a whole flock of them. Keep your eye on her, will you?
I'll try. Casual acquaintance, eh? Here, take your stuff and clear out. I've got work to do.
How old are you?
34. Why?
You've been convicted of a felony?
You
used to bootleg, didn't you?
Who, me?
I object, Your Honor. For 2 days, we have listened to the insulting and irrelevant questions which Mr. Conant has flung at the state's witnesses. I ask that he be warned again before the just pride of this community rises to change his methods.
How many of the jury did you sell to?
Your Honor.
The prosecuting attorney, you sold him liquor too, didn't you?
Don't answer that. Mr. Conant, I warn you for the last time. Either conduct your cross-examination within bounds, or I'll hold you in contempt.
Well, that'll let loose a lot of contempt in this court, Your Honor.
I fine you $50.
I beg Your Honor's pardon. I meant no offense.
Proceed.
Do you belong to a church?
Don't answer that. You're not on trial.
You don't have to. I can see that you don't.
Your Honor, I ask that this cross-examination be stricken from the records as irrelevant and immaterial. If Mr. Conant wishes to impeach the witness, there are legal methods to which he may resort.
Legality? Here?
Mr. Conant.
I beg Your Honor's pardon.
Strike the testimony of the witness from the record. This court will recess for 1 hour and will resume promptly at 2 o'clock. Who are you? What do you want?
Take it easy, Squire. We represent the Metropolitan Press. You got a story? You want to make a statement?
Leave this room, all of you.
What's the idea, Barry? Hold it, Barry.
Say, who are you?
I'm Beebe Sanders, an important witness in this case.
Can I have a picture?
Yeah, but just a minute. Scandalous conduct in here.
Ready.
I order you to clear this courtroom.
How about another picture, Judge?
Order!
Why did you bring all those reporters here? They'll ruin what little case we have left. Make everybody in town furious.
Oh, come on now. It's a great story. I'm news. Front page news. And I'll make you news, too. Why, this is worth $1 million in publicity.
Publicity? So that's why you took the case.
Of course. Why not?
I might have known it.
Now, wait a minute, Carol. Say, listen to me.
It's an outrage. I ought to send him to jail.
That's all I needed. I've got the case licked now.
This makes it very tough for Gracie Clay.
You're right. That's the end of Gracie Clay.
It's disgraceful.
Run that lawyer full out of town.
Yes. Tar and feather him.
Run him out.
Write him out of town on a rail. Transferring your case to the newspapers. Casting aspersions upon this court, this community, and its people. This court won't stand for it. You're a disgrace to the bar. You're a cheap mountebank, and if you're quoted once more in derision of this community or its people, I'll send you to jail and keep you there. Proceed, Mr. Prosecutor.
I recall Gracie Clay. Gracie Clay, take the stand. Your father found you with a man, didn't he?
Yes.
And you were hugging him, weren't you?
I was only...
And he told you he was going to tell that man's father, didn't he?
Yes.
You were afraid he'd kill your sweetheart, weren't you?
Yes. No, he was whipping me.
Who was the man?
I won't tell you.
Did he tell you to keep quiet?
No.
Did he ever make any threats, offer you money to keep him out of this?
No.
Then why don't you tell us who he is?
I can't. I won't.
I object. The man in question is not on trial. His actions are immaterial.
Objection overruled.
Now, isn't it a fact that this man you love so devotedly is a married man and that you're afraid to tell?
No.
Isn't he a man your father forbade you to see again? A man your father knew you were running after? A man he knew had no honorable intentions?
No.
Come now. Is he in this courtroom? Is he sitting out there looking at you, telling you to keep quiet?
I won't tell you. Aren't you going to do something?
Keep your shirt on. I will.
I ask you once more. Why did you hit your father?
He was whipping me.
You ever get a whipping before?
Yes.
You ever try to kill your father before? Then the reason you killed him this time was because he caught you in the arms of a man he had warned you against.
No.
You knew that if he lived, you'd not be able to see that man again.
Oh, stop it, I can't stand.
You believe in the Bible? In the 10 Commandments? You know what happens to you if you break those commandments? Didn't you ever hear of the commandment, honor thy father and thy mother?
Yes.
Yet you broke that commandment. You killed your own father in cold blood in order to save your sweetheart for yourself. Now, didn't you?
Oh, stop it, I can't stand anymore. I don't care what you do to me. I can't fight you because I don't care. But I won't tell you anything more.
You've told us quite enough.
That's all. You're right. That is enough. I've seen and heard all I want to of this case. I've sat here for days listening, seeing, learning for the first time what you are like. It's no longer Gracie Clay who is on trial, but you with your narrowness, your prejudice, and your hatred. I am a city man. You think of me as an outsider, all right, but I came to you with an open mind. The small towns of America. All my life they've been held up to me as models of all that is good in our life. Here beat the heart of America. We in the city were foreigners to that spirit, hard, thoughtless, selfish. But I was wrong. It is not we who are intolerant, but you. You, the backbone of the country. And now, for the first time, I, an outsider, see you for what you are. Just look at yourselves, you bigots, you saintly sadists, you nauseating nitwits, bilious-looking, unnatural, inhuman, you towers of self-righteousness. Just look at his mouth, the slit in his face, his eyes popping out like a bullfrog's, and your chins dripping tobacco juice, bewhiskered, dirty, foolish, and all this prating about wanting to help this child, about being her friend, her friend. You think I don't know what you want, what you're standing there thinking, what you're picturing in your minds? You want to see her on the scaffold, and you want to come early in your creaky wagons and your run-down automobiles, bringing your lunch and your liquor, and you want to stand there gaping up at her with your cheeks full of food, belching and guffawing, injecting your food in the saliva of your hatred. I say go on, take your vengeance. Go on, destroy Gracie Clay. Defoul your community. I want no more of you nor your filth. Order! We must have order. Order in the court.
How could you?
It was true, every word I said. Wait till that speech hits the newspapers of the country.
The newspapers?
Of course. Say, listen, we'll be sensational. Why, I might even take you in as our partner, Conant and Aiken.
You mean you did it for the newspapers?
I gave up $50,000 to come down here. The case is as good as lost. I had to do something, get something out of it.
I won't let you treat Gracie like that. I'll tell these people what you're really like. Put the blame where it belongs, on myself for letting you in on this case.
Go ahead, try. See what it gets you.
They'll understand. I'll make them understand.
All right, link yourself with these morons, but don't ask me to do it. Appeal to their finer natures. Tell them you're one of them. Try and make them see what a fine, pure love Gracie gave this unknown gentleman. You'll see how right I was.
All right, I will. You wait and see.
You're tied up like a nut grabber. Get her.
Leave me alone. What are you going to do?
You'll find out. Get him.
No, you don't. Let me go. Hey.
Hey, not so real.
Sorry, Doc.
Take him out!
Your fellow townsmen haven't disappointed me. It's just what I'd expect.
No, you can't do this. He didn't mean it. He wasn't himself.
This court will not tolerate such disgraceful behavior as this town witnessed last night. As long as this court exists, it will give protection to those having business with it, no matter what the provocation may be. Fortunately for those involved, Mr. Conant will recover from his injuries, but that does not absolve them of full responsibility. Mr. Sheriff, I order you to investigate and bring to me the men responsible for this outrage upon Mr. Conant. I'll see that they are punished to the limit. You may proceed, Miss Aiken.
Your Honor, gentlemen of the jury, I regret, as you must, what happened to Mr. Conant last night. But I assure you that even if it had not occurred, he would no longer be connected with the defense. Last night I went to see Mr. Conant to demand an explanation of his conduct here yesterday. Far from being repentant, he scoffed at the idea that I should appeal to you with the truth about Gracie Clay. It seems that to do so would put me in the same class with you. Very well, gentlemen, I accept that position willingly. I am one of you. I was born among you. You knew my father and his father before him. And if I have any cause for regret, it is that I forgot that you are my people. That I...
Order! Your Honor, I must apologize for the intrusion, but Mr. Conant insisted upon being present for the summation.
This is very irregular. However, he may remain.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Sit down, Chief.
Proceed.
I'm glad that Mr. Conant is here, because I want to say in his presence, and in the presence of the newspaper men he brought here without my knowledge, that I accept full responsibility for the damage he has done to the defendant. I allowed Mr. Conant to inject himself into the case. Deep in my heart, I realized I was taking a chance, for I knew how little he cared for the law or justice. I realized it the moment he forced me to pretend to faint, but I was sure of it when these newspaper men arrived. It was too late then. I could only hope for the best. I thought Gracie would appeal to his chivalry, but I was mistaken. He has none. I stand amid the wreckage of this case, conscious that I've hurt rather than helped this girl. But have I lost? Is it too late to repent? Have I been wrong about Clarkdale? Was Barry Conant right when he said that a simple statement of the truth would not receive your consideration? Here are the facts, gentlemen. Gracie Clay defended herself against her father. He fell and was killed. He died believing, as some of you believe, that she was a bad woman. Why? Because she wore a pretty dress? Because she was caught talking to a boy? Gentlemen, I gave her that dress. Is it so terrible to want a pretty dress? Is there a woman in this world who doesn't like pretty clothes? On the night after the picnic, she came to me, not because I'm a lawyer, but because she knew I was her friend, and Gracie had no other friends. Why, you may ask, didn't she go to the boy to warn him? Because she didn't want to hurt him. Isn't that understandable? Gracie loved this man, this boy, rather better than she loved her own life, that's all. He'd been nice to her. She told me about him the day I gave her the dress. He shared his lunch with her once, talked to her. He was the first boy who had ever been kind to her. She was young and she fell in love, so desperately, so deeply that she'd rather die than hurt him. I don't know who he is. She's never told me. But she did tell me there was nothing wrong between them. I believe that. I ask you, gentlemen, to look at her now. Is that the face of a bad woman? No. It's the face of a girl in love. And I tell you that if this boy, whoever he is, were only here, you'd see for yourselves that he's fundamentally decent. If he weren't, how could he have won the unselfish love that she has given him? If he is within hearing of my voice, I appeal to him. I beg him to come forward. For I know if he doesn't, he'll never draw another happy breath as long as he lives. Emery! Oh, no, ever don't.
I've got to. I've sat out there as long as I could. I've got to tell them it was me. Don't you see that?
No.
What do I care what they think now? Any of them. Except you. I know you hate me. If you don't, you ought to for not telling anybody, but you know why I didn't.
Everett!
It was you. I knew what you'd say and what you'd think. It's always been like this. All my life I've been scared of you, but now I can tell you to your face what I think of you. You had me all dammed up inside, but not anymore. You can say and do what you want. Yes, I was with Gracie that night, and I love her. She's the only person I've ever loved. There wasn't anything wrong between us, but you wouldn't understand that because your mind's too black. But I know it, and she knows it, and that's all I care about. How do you vote?
Let's get out, Doc, before they realize we're still here.
Yeah, they'll ruin us.
Well, you were wonderful. Couldn't have done better myself.
Oh, let's not talk about it.
First woman I ever met who didn't want to hear nice things about herself.
Oh, easy, Doc. Easy there, no. Hey there. That hurts. Stay. Oh, be careful, that hurts. Stay long down.
Quit squawking with your own idea.
Ouch! Be gentle, more like a mother. You don't have to pull that hard. No, hello.
You aren't hurt.
No, Your Honor.
You bringing those newspaper men here. That tirade in court. The mob who tarred and feathered you last night.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, wait a minute. Beat it, Doc. Listen, Carol. I came into this case to help you, honestly, by using your methods. But I saw they wouldn't work. I knew they resented me, so I decided to let them really get sore. I thought that'd give you and Gracie a chance. Can't you see? I only did it for you.
You make me feel so little after all I said about you.
Oh, you didn't mean a word you said. Oh, gee, Carol, we'd make a swell team.
Law team?
What do you think? My, but you can be eloquent when you want to be.